Hi folks, it's Crystalline. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to talk about the zodiac signs as houseplants. So I'm going to go through each of the zodiac signs and I'm going to tell you which houseplant I think best represents that zodiac sign. Obviously, this is not going to apply to everyone because astrology is not always an exact science, but I'm going off of the most commonly thought of traits that are associated with that sign and using that to decide which type of houseplant best represents them. So I'm going to go in order of the zodiac chart and tell you which plant I think best fits that sign and why. The first sign is Aries, and I think that Aries is represented well by Tradescantia Zebrina. This is one of my favorite houseplants for how fast growing it is, and it is known for its beautiful and bright, vibrant colors. Now, as people, Aries are also bold, playful, and sometimes a bit impulsive, but that's just because they like to move quickly through life. Just like Tradescantia Zebrina are super fast growing. Also, Aries are known to be strong and sometimes even a little bit petty, but that's okay because Tradescantia Zebrina are the same way. They can thrive in any condition and they can even grow like in concrete. And Aries will do the same just to prove the haters wrong. Aries are bold and vibrant, like fire, since they're fire signs, and I think that Tradescantia Zebrina represents them really well. Aries is Tradescantia Zebrina. The next zodiac sign is Taurus. Taurus people are dependable, loyal, and very truly reliable. So the plant that I think best represents them is Monstera Deliciosa. Just like a Taurus, a Monstera is very tolerant of the conditions that it's placed in. And that might be because they're a little bit too stubborn to give up on something, but they really like to be comfortable. Monstera thrive when they're a little root bound because they know their space and they know that they are snug and cozy in the pot that they're in. Just like a Taurus likes to be wrapped up in their bed with blankets and pillows and the comfort of their own home. Taurus are known to be enchanted by luxury and sensuality and things like that. And I think that Monstera are a really good representation of this because Monstera leaves are often used to represent warm, tropical places that are thought of as being luxurious and places to aspire to be. Also like Taurus, Monstera know how to play the long game. They start out with immature, unfenestrated leaves, but as they grow older, they turn into beautiful giant leaves that climb up trees and just take up all of the space that they need. As I said, Taurus and Monstera are both very dependable and reliable. They're super common houseplants for a reason, because people know that they can count on them. And if you know that you need someone that you can count on, get yourself a Taurus. So Taurus is Monstera Deliciosa. The next zodiac sign is Gemini. Gemini are known to be a little bit chaotic, and so I chose golden pothos to represent them. Just like Geminis, pothos know how to express their emotions verbally. Well, I guess plants aren't necessarily expressing things verbally, but a pothos will wilt when it needs watered and it tells you what it needs. Just like a Gemini will tell you what they need and how they're feeling. Gemini have a little bit of social anxiety, but they mask it by being pretty extroverted. And if you know anything about pothos, they will just take over whatever space they are in, like an extrovert. They can be a bit indecisive, just like a pothos has to decide if they want to be a trailing plant or to climb up a pole or a trellis or a wall or whatever they're given. But sometimes they don't make the decision and they do both. And that indecisiveness allows them to be adaptable to whatever conditions they're in, and they can adapt to new situations as they arise. So Gemini is golden pothos. The next zodiac sign is Cancer, and Cancers are known for sensitivity, being emotional, and sometimes a little bit dramatic. So I think the best houseplant that represents them are calatheas. Calatheas are very sensitive to their environments. They need the right humidity, the right conditions, the right amount of water, and calatheas don't like to dry out. Cancer is a water sign, so they also like water. With Cancers, sometimes it takes a little while to get to know them. Just like calatheas aren't always the easiest plants to take care of, but once you learn more about them and learn what they like and what they don't like, they'll really open up to you. Calathea look innocent, but they're not. They look like with those big leaves that just look similar to a Philodendron or a Monstera, that they would be pretty easy to care for. But as most of us know, calatheas aren't the easiest to care for. Cancers are also known to be able to pick up the energy in a room, which is why I wanted to choose a prayer plant to represent them. Just like prayer plants rise and fall with the sunlight, Cancers can really adjust to whatever the energy is in the room. So if you give good energy, you'll get good energy back from a Cancer. Cancer are Caletheas. The next zodiac sign is Leo. Leos are known for being vivacious, theatrical, and loving to be the center of attention. So for Leos, I chose Philodendron Prince of Orange to represent them. I chose Philodendron Prince of Orange because their leaves are bright orange when they first unveil, and you cannot tell me that that is not someone trying to be the center of attention. A bright orange that, however, fades to green because just like Leo's, Philodendron Prince of Orange gets deeper and more courageous as it grows stronger. So the bright orange is really just to get attention, but then as they mature and as they grow, it fades back to a deep, rich green color. Additionally, Leos really give more than they take. Because the Prince of Orange is a philodendron, it doesn't need a ton of care, but like I said, it's a real attention getter and it brightens up a room with the bright orange leaves, and since it's easy to care for, you'll have it around for a long time. Just like philodendrons, Leos are ambitious and determined. Philodendrons are strong plants and they will do whatever it takes to grow. For those reasons, Leos are Philodendron Prince of Orange. The next zodiac sign is Libra. Libras are known for their love of the arts, their intellectualism. Because of these things, I chose Anthurium clarinervium to represent them. Anthurium clarinervium have velvety, dark foliage with striking lines of white across the leaf. Just like Libras, Anthuriums need to look good and feel good. It can sometimes take a little while to learn how to care for anthuriums, so they're not exactly a starter plant. And Libras are not a step along the way, they are a destination. They don't want to be looked at as stepping stones, and anthuriums aren't exactly plants that you should pick to learn how to care for houseplants on. They're more houseplants that you should take on after you've learned and grew as a plant parent. For these reasons, Libras are Anthurium clarinerviums. The next zodiac sign is Scorpio. Scorpios are known for being bold, passionate, but also dark and mysterious. I chose Alocasia Black Velvet to represent them. Scorpios are also proud of being unique and a little strange and unusual, and that's why I specifically chose the Alocasia Black Velvet. With its dark velvety foliage, it doesn't necessarily look like other types of alocasia. Scorpios are sassy and slightly intimidating, and if you don't know how to care for alocasias, they can also be a little intimidating. And the black foliage is definitely sassy. Scorpios are passionate and powerful. They are governed by Pluto, which, by the way, is definitely still a planet in my book. Pluto represents destruction as well as transformation, and I think alocasias are a great representation of that because they sometimes tend to kill off leaves as they put out new ones. They destroy one leaf and they transform by putting out a new one. For these reasons, Scorpios are Alocasia Black Velvet. The next zodiac sign is Virgo. Virgos are known for being analytical and sometimes nitpicky. For that reason, I chose fiddle leaf figs to represent Virgos. Fiddle leaf figs are independent plants. They can turn into entire trees, and they are great to just sit in a bright sunny corner and leave alone. Once Virgos have found what they like, and once fiddle leaf figs have found what they like, there's no reason to change it. Since they're nitpicky, if they find perfection, let them have their perfection. Virgos also appear to have it all together, but might secretly be dying on the inside, which is kind of how fiddle leaf figs are. They might look like they are doing well and healthy, but if you're overwatering them, they might be getting root rot and dying from the inside out. Virgos are very hardworking, and fiddle leaf figs are too. To have leaves that are so big and luxurious, it's a lot of work to keep them watered and make sure that they're happy, and that tree is doing a lot of work to keep that foliage up. And since Virgos are hard workers, they are fiddle leaf figs. The next zodiac sign is Sagittarius. Sagittarius are adventurous, resilient, and strong. And for that reason, I picked Raven ZZ plants to represent them. Now, Sagittarius are resilient, but sometimes being so resilient and independent can come off as being emotionally detached. Raven ZZs are very strong plants. They don't need a ton of care, But if you overwater them, they will get root rot and they will be really sad. They don't need a lot of attention, and neither does a Sagittarius. Sagittarius are also known for being chill, but a little crazy at the same time. That's why I think ZZ plants are a good representation of them. They can just put out new shoots whenever, just like a Sagittarius is spontaneous, and they don't need a lot of care. You can put them in a slightly darker room that most other plants wouldn't survive in, and they will still grow and thrive. The Sagittarius resiliency is strong with Raven ZZ plants. Because they're more adventurous, I chose the Raven ZZ plant because I think that the black foliage is more adventurous than the typical green ZZ plant. For all of these reasons, Sagittarius is Raven ZZ plants. The next zodiac sign is Capricorn. Capricorn are practical yet ambitious, but persistent and disciplined. For these reasons, I picked Jade plants. Jade plants are really practical plants because they're succulents, they don't need a ton of care, and as long as you put them in a bright place, they will be happy and they will continue to grow. However, they're also practical because they stay relatively compact and they aren't necessarily going to take over too much space. Jade plants are resilient because as they grow older, their stems turn into a more barky, woody stem, and that allows them to honestly live forever. I have seen super mature jade plants and they continue to grow, they continue to put out new leaves and branches, and they're just beautiful. That is the Capricorn persistence coming through. However, Capricorns are still sensitive, and however, jade plants are still sensitive, just like Capricorns. Jade plants don't like to be overwatered because they are succulents and they need bright light to be able to grow. Capricorns need their specific conditions, and so do jade plants. So Capricorns are jade plants. The next zodiac sign is Aquarius. Aquarius are very unique and creative, and for that reason, I chose to represent them with Philodendron camposportanum. Now, these plants have such interesting leaf shapes, and they are really beautiful plants. They don't look much like any other philodendrons that I've ever seen, and that's the Aquarius uniqueness coming out. However, just like in Aquarius, these plants evolve over time. The immature leaf looks nothing like the mature leaf, and I really think that that represents the evolutions and transformations that an Aquarius will go through in their lifetime. Aquarius are also very independent and free thinkers, and philodendrons are the same way. Like I mentioned with the Philodendron Prince of Orange that is a Virgo, they don't need a ton of care, but they will do whatever they can to survive. And that's the free thinker and the persistence that Aquarius have. The final zodiac sign is Pisces. Now, this one was a little hard for me, to be honest, because I am a Pisces, so I wanted to remove myself from it, but I think I did this explanation without any bias. But obviously, it's hard to completely remove yourself from the situation when you're making the video. Pisces are known for being a little dramatic, daydreamers, and living between reality and fantasy all the time. I chose the Jasmine plant to represent Pisces. Just like a Pisces, jasmine plants are capable of adapting to their situations. Jasmine plants can be grown outdoors as ground cover or shrubbery, but they can also be grown indoors as houseplants. Pisces are thought to be very cottagecore, and I think this plant really represents that well. I think it would fit in really well with the cottagecore aesthetic. Jasmine plants like water, and they don't like to completely dry out. And I think Pisces are kind of the same way because they're drawn to water. Now, because Pisces do tend to have a flair for the dramatic, I think the jasmine plant is a good representation because they put out beautiful, white, delicate flowers. For all of these reasons, I think that Pisces is best represented by a jasmine plant. So thank you guys so much for watching. This video is a little bit different than what I normally do, so I thought it would be a fun change to my plant miss content and also to the rest of the content on my channel. It's not necessarily informational, it's a little more entertainment, but I hope you did learn something about some of the plants in this video, and maybe you really saw yourself in one of the plants. It might be the plant that is associated with your zodiac sign or not. maybe you just liked the description of one of the other plants. So if you do feel like you relate to your zodiac sign, please tell me in the comments down below and let me know if you feel like this plant is an accurate representation of who you are as a person based on your zodiac sign. That's gonna be it for today's video. Thank you guys again so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you aren't already subscribed to my channel, go ahead and do so now, and stay tuned for the rest of Plantmas. Thanks everyone.